Good Monday morning, friends. It's Joe. Welcome to my scripture reflection for Monday, March the 25th. Hope all is well with you on the start of what's known as Holy Week in the Christian calendar as we prepare for the Easter holiday, which is a Sunday. Before that, we will have several other meaningful days: Holy Thursday, Good Friday. So I will be with you, different times this week, and I'll announce it as the days get closer. But two more important announcements. First, I am going to be starting next Monday for the 4 consecutive Mondays, April 1st, 8th, 15th, and 22nd, a reflection on the book of Hosea and the covenant that God made with animals and people. And we will explore what this means for our own levels of compassion and peace and a rewarding life. Secondly, to go along with that and preview that, my online course, the Compassion and Commitment Academy, will be out more than likely on May 1st, but look out for the date. I will announce it when it is firm, but I'm excited to release this course, which I really will feel as if it will help us all create a more peaceful, respectful, and compassionate world. So, with that in mind, I am going to ask you to quiet your minds and hearts as we prepare to hear today's gospel, which is from St. John, chapter 12, verses 1 through 11. 6 days before Passover, Jesus came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, whom Jesus had raised from the dead. They gave a dinner for him there, and Martha served, while Lazarus was one of those reclining at table with him. Mary took a liter of costly perfumed oil made from genuine aromatic nard and anointed the feet of Jesus and dried them with her hair. The house was filled with the fragrance of the oil. Then Judas the Iscariot, one of the disciples, and one who was to betray him, said, "Why was this oil not sold for 300 days' wages and given to the poor?" He said this not because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief and he held the money bag and used to steal the contributions. So Jesus said, "Leave her alone. Let her keep this for the day of my burial. You always will have the poor with you, but you do not always have me." The large crowd of the Jews found out that he was there and came, not only because of him, but also to see Lazarus, whom he had raised from the dead. And the chief priests plotted to kill Lazarus too, because many of the Jews were turning away and believing in Jesus because of him. This gospel has probably a very popular central theme, which is Judas himself and his actions. We will talk about that maybe later in the week. But today, I'd rather focus on something that may not be as popular when this gospel is explored, which is priorities. Jesus makes it clear that there's a shift in the priorities here. What seems to be obvious, if we take Judas at his word, so to speak, is that this money and this perfumed oil should be used to serve the poor. And that is a worthy endeavor. But instead, Jesus shifts the priority to himself. And he is actually a bigger picture than all, isn't he? Always will be. And his point is well taken, that the poor will always be with us. So let's focus right now on me and your life with me as the most important priority. It leads us to thinking that priorities are not always so obvious, are they? Sometimes we think that we have our priorities in order, but when we reflect back on them, we can look and say, well, maybe I should have done A versus B first. And what we have here is Mary Magdalene, one of my favorite gospel characters. She's the first that will see Jesus when he rises from the dead. She was condemned to being, a lady of the evening, so to speak, but she seems in every gospel to be very loyal to Jesus. And she takes this perfumed oil. And just as an aside, this perfumed oil is used during baptisms. And when I used to baptize children in church, you use my thumb to use this oil to anoint the crown of their head. And the oil would remain, the beautiful smell of the perfume within the oil would remain on my thumb for several days. That's just a quick aside. But maybe it is a good way for us to evaluate our priorities. What if we are faced with two choices on something that we are to do and something we are to prioritize? Maybe we take what is most sweet for Jesus, the sweetest thing for Jesus that we know is there and is obvious for us. It may not always be so obvious, so maybe this is the way to evaluate it for ourselves, not only in what's in front of us, but what was behind us. For we can learn a lot from our decisions prior to making better decisions going forward. So, my friends, that's my message for you on this Monday morning of Holy Week. I hope it was helpful. I always welcome your comments and your thoughts. I always appreciate you being here with me. We're going to take a moment or two of silent reflection, and then we'll end with a prayer. Most loving Jesus, we thank you as we enter this Holy Week for all of the gifts you provide to us. We ask for further gifts of wisdom so that we may see our priorities more clearly, our priorities and our decisions that are backed by them, that they may serve you as our most important and most positive thing that we can do with our decisions and our actions. We thank you for the ability to do that. And we recognize that it will bring more compassion and peace to our heart and lead us to a more rewarding life. My friends, I wish you all a wonderful Monday, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Take care, everyone.